Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
What up, y'all? It's Joe Budden, here to talk about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to win real money while watching football. You can get up to 100 times your money.
Prize Picks will give you $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Just download the Prize Picks app and use code SPOTIFY. That's code SPOTIFY on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Don't Blame Me. You know what you can't do here?
Blame either one of us.
No, it is in the rules. It's in the terms and conditions you signed. If you don't remember signing it, that is not my problem.
When you clicked on this to play it, you consented.
Yes, you did. And if you're brand new here, my name is Megan.
My name's Melissa.
And together, we make up M&M. You can take that either way you want. Candy or the wrapper. Or
just me on my own.
Facts. So this podcast is where we give wonderful, amazing, life-changing advice. And we do that in multiple ways. You leave voicemails, you leave voice memos, you write us a DM, or you send us an email. And we, two gorgeous intellectuals, brainiacs, some might say, we fix your life in one fell swoop. And if we don't, again, it's in the title, you can't blame us. How many episodes do you think are we at this point, do you think?
250?
Yeah.
Maybe. There were times where we would take like a month off,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't really do that anymore. So
No.
closer to 300, I would think.
Yeah. We've done like, I think we've had like a little more intermittent accidental breaks.
Yeah.
Like when I
Mm-hmm.
ate the Dawn Power Wash.
Yeah. Or I just got sick and then you got sick.
Uh-huh. It's a domino
Yeah.
effect.
Mm-hmm.
One of us, it's never going to be only one of us getting sick. Actually, if
Yeah,
I get
and we
sick,
never
you don't
get-
necessarily get sick. But if you get sick, I'm getting sick.
But we're never like, I'm not getting you sick. Though.
No.
That's the thing. Because it's
No.
like weeks after.
Yeah,
I'm sick.
but it just
like I'm on the
happens.
mins and then you get sick.
I'm also afraid I'm going to get sick again because I was hanging out with my nephew who obviously is sick all the time. And I said that in the car on the way home. I was like, I'm really afraid I'm going to get sick. And Moz goes, me too. And I was like, oh, okay, so I'm definitely going to get sick. Because usually he goes, no. You're not going to get sick. You're fine. He's like, no, I'm really worried you're going to get sick again too. I'm like, fucking hell. But maybe I'll get on top of it. Take that Claritin. What'd you say that I have to take?
D.
The D.
Claritin D.
I need
Mhm.
I need that D. I can't say
I
that too
need that
quietly.
D
Moz
so
will wake up
bad.
from his sleep. I've been summoned.
Everything's just awake and erect.
I am alert. All attention. Everything. 90-degree angle. Whoop. Anyways,
It's so cold in the D.
I've always said that. I've always said that. I can't wait. It's finally gonna get cold, and now that just every time I check the
That's
weather,
all.
it'll go. It's so cold.
Cold in the D. How the fuck is we supposed to keep peace? A bop.
If you've never heard, seen it, first of all, you can't hear it without seeing it.
You
need to-
can't hear it without seeing
No.
it. No, yeah.
So check it out and let that be the soundtrack to your winter. Join us.
There is a song that dropped also that I feel like we should bring more nastiness to the holidays. And I don't know if you're familiar with Noah Davis, the singer.
Sounds familiar.
Well, go to Instagram Noah Davis 50, but I would like to play this
No,
holiday
I know what you're
song
talking
that
about.
he's dropping.
I know what you're talking about. I know.
For Christmas and New Year's too. Next Christmas Eve, I saw you got a package, and I know it's just for me. We can do it by the fire underneath the mistletoe.
I'm so sorry. This is someone so different than I thought it
Until you
was.
get back to the North Pole with you, me, a bottle of Patron, a little camera phone so we can film it. Let's film it. Feels right. So how could this be wrong?
Okay, we've officially evolved past the need of Chris Brown. Like, because Chris Brown was making fucking let me fuck you on Christmas music without saying it, and we haven't needed Chris Brown in a long time. But this is officially, there's no more complaints of saying, well, how am I supposed to have that? Where's my horny Christmas music? Here it is. Here it is.
The aesthetics of them just sprawled out in front of a beautiful white Christmas tree. Incredible.
I'm obsessed. Also, the outfits.
Yeah.
The glam.
Mm-hmm. If you want just some nasty music, that's all the music that they make. So have fun. I just accidentally stumbled upon because Black TikTok had stumbled upon one that they sung about titties and another one about dick, and we're talking about how like it's like legit a bop. And then I started following them, and I was like, this is the music that I've been waiting for.
I fully thought that this was going to be that song. I don't even know what I like. Will not even open it, but that went viral recently too. And it's like the profile of I don't know how old he is, but like a young Black guy singing and it's like a drop down mic, and everybody was like, I can't with this song. And so I was like, I'm not even clicking it if all of Twitter is talking about it. And I thought that's who this was going to be. Imagine my surprise when I see a white boy pop up, face beat, and I'm like,
right.
Okay. Yeah, I want to fuck you for Christmas. This is amazing. Wow. Thank you for that. Thank you actually so much for that. I'm going to put it on, and Mats is going to be like, actually, he probably won't even fucking notice. He will just be like, that's a great song. I like the beat.
Oh my gosh. It's so good.
He's really fucking
I
good.
want to fuck you for Christmas.
And don't they all? Ho, 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 ho. Well, we're going to give you some advice. And if you want to call in, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. International listeners, you can send an audio message at meganpodcast@gmail.com. You can also write out what you want to say and send it to the same email address, or you can do that to our DMs. For the written versions, let us know all of the information, but keep it under 300 words. Please let us know how old you are. You can let us know your pronouns if you would like, but you do not have to. And then for the call version, you have 3 minutes to tell us everything. Not about you, about the situation, what you need advice on, the problem, the predicament that you are facing. Also, please let us know your age. You can let us know your pronouns again if you would like. You do not have to, but tell us the story, paint the scene, tell us a picture, really give us a sense of it, because otherwise we have to fill in the blanks. So if it's about a relationship, how long have you been together? If it's like, oh, my friends hate my partner, like let us know what their qualms are, like really try and get into the specifics that if you were listening to the podcast, that you would need to form your own opinions, because that's how we can give you the best advice. And we also ask, if you're sensitive, you can let us know. We will take that into account. And yeah, if you want to watch the video version of the podcast, if you're like me, who you're like, I love a podcast, but I love a fucking video version, check out our Patreon. Very affordable. And not only can you watch a video version of this podcast, you can watch a video version of our other podcast, But Am I Wrong? And this week, it's a But Am I Watching?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and we're watching the Barbie movie. Hi, Barbie.
Hi, Barbie.
It's fucking good. And you can also support the show just in general on Patreon if you would like. And we also do live streams twice a month where we just hang out and it's fun. And yeah, we also have some other shows. What are our other slate of content, Melissa, that they can watch and listen to?
On Tuesdays, we have See You Next Tuesday, where it's just us catching up. This week, we're talking about just a plethora of things, mainly revolving around the Thursday that just happened. And then on Fridays, we have Fisting Fridays, where we read the results of whatever happened in our lives. Not really. From But Am I Wrong? The results from But Am I Wrong?
Vote on our life. This is Squid Games.
And yeah, they're a good time because it's a lot of us just talking.
And if you don't like that yet, it's just because you haven't been listening long enough. Once you keep listening, you're like, I miss these bitches, and then soon you'll be begging for episodes on Wednesday.
Yeah, and the Tuesday and Friday episodes are shorter than our regular, so it can just be a little bite size,
a little quickie.
All right. So, shall we get to an update?
Oh yeah,
it's something that both of us have already took a gander at, but I'm going to share with everyone. It's from the episode with the engagement ring twins. So the person wrote in and said, "Thank you both so much for airing my call and giving me advice. I'm going to be a good friend and get over it. I get 50-50 advice from coworkers and family. All of my family is like, grows you, and my coworkers are very much cut them off. However, my fiance doesn't see the big deal, and neither do y'all. So we are going to move forward, and we're going to move forward with grace and be grateful. Since 2021, we have moved and own a house, congratulations, and have great jobs and money of our own. So seeing them a couple times a month won't be hard. If there's any fun updates to come, I will call them in just for y'all to have them. You are both highly respected in my eye, and I recommend all your shows to clients I have in the salon. I hope it's making a difference in their lives as much as mine. Thank you.
That's so nice.
That's so nice.
We also have now since seen the photos.
Mm-hmm.
And to follow up, I don't think they look that similar.
I don't think they're the same ring. Like, it's the same color of gemstone. And I think if this was in a diamond and a silver band, no one would be saying it was the same ring.
Yeah. No, I think it was definitely like the proposer or the proposee. It was distant enough. It wasn't like a direct copy. And so it was like, oh, I'm inspired by this. Yes. So therefore, this is like a cool version of it. Or not a cool, but like a more me version of it. So,
and we don't know which one is yours or the or your friends. So we have no judgment either way. So
if you tell us, we do have. We each like different ones more.
We have opposite of which one we like better. So 50-50 on that too.
Yeah.
So,
if you tell us which one is yours, only one of us is going to like yours more. One of us is going to think the other one better.
Yeah, but I think they're different rings.
Yeah. Well, they're different enough that we have we each like different ones more. So,
all right, let's take a break and then we'll get into the calls.
We're back. It's time to change some fucking lives. Give some advice. Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I'm 23, female, and I've never had any kind of romantic interactions in my life, like not even holding a guy's hand and being kissed. I've always been the single friend or the one guys asks if my friend's single. I don't think I'm unattractive, but it seems like I'm just not anyone's type. I'm either the complete opposite of what guys I like would go for, or I end up being just the friend/acquaintance to them. I don't think I'm unattractive by any means, but it doesn't seem like I'm turning heads either. I often get compliments and told that I'm pretty by women in public, but never men. I work in a smallish town at a decent-sized university, been there for almost 2 years, so there's not much for me to do recreationally without feeling weird about interacting with students as an employee. And the office I work in is fairly small and is full of predominantly middle-aged and older white men. I do, however, have a work crush who's about 10 years older than me.
No.
That makes work fun, and I'm pretty sure he flirts with me. He does, and he shouldn't. But he also may just be being nice/playful and may not be getting into or already in a relationship. Getting involved with someone at work would be too messy, I know. I've been on apps since college and they're awful. Most of the likes I get are very unattractive to me, of course, or they're kind of attractive but just fetishize me. Most guys' opening line involves them saying like they've never been with a black girl or calling me gorgeous black queen or talking about my chocolate skin, facepalm emoji. For context, for context, I am black and fairly tall, 6'2"-ish. I have no problem dating within and outside of my race, by the way. It's just that the black guys I've seen only date white girls or just don't treat black women with a ton of respect. And sometimes I don't know how to show guys of other races that I'd be interested. I've always seen myself with someone older than me. 10 to 12 years older is my max, but I don't know how to go about that. A part of me would prefer to gain more sexual experience before getting into a relationship, partially so I can live out my hoe phase, but also because I feel like I'd be more prepared. I would love to hear what you guys think and be open to any kind of advice. I'm a Leo, by the way, and a tiny bit sensitive, if that helps. Thank you.
Well, the first thing I would say is, if you're wanting to, what are your reasons for wanting to date somebody 10 to 12 years older? If it's to secure a bag, okay. But
40 years older then. But not old enough then.
Yeah. Any other reason? No, you're not coming to the right place for somebody asking to date somebody that much older than them. We don't believe in age gaps in that way. Yeah. So,
you're then looking for like, I'm looking to date an emotionally stunted man. And it's like, why?
Yeah. I just, yeah. And the coworker, absolutely not. Not just because he's 10 years older than you, which is your type, I guess, but it's messy and no.
Mm-hmm.
So all that's off the table.
Why is that your type? Therapy, I might suggest. With love.
Oh, but everything else, this does, before you even said that you were in a smallish town, I already knew that's where you were. You didn't have to tell me that. And I would say, open it up. Like, is there a bigger town near that you can go to? Do you have friends that like single friends that you can go to like day trips and see, like somebody that's still close enough, but a little outside of your area? And then as far as like letting people know, I want to know where you are specifically in the US. But as far as like letting people know that you have no problem dating outside your race and that you'd be interested, I've dated a whole rainbow of people, and I've never just like gone to somebody of another ethnicity and like showed interest in a different way than I would of somebody in this with the same ethnicity. Like I just show interest. And I think if you are putting those into compartments of that you need to be different around different people and show your interest in a different way, that may be that you, and I know that you say that you're sensitive, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but you may need to know who you are more before you start dating, because it sounds like that you would change your behavior depending on who you're dating. And maybe you're not ready to date yet.
Do you think it could also be like internalizing some of the fetishization of that to then make it like, how do I mold myself to the version, the idea of what you have of fetishizing Black? Like, how can I be that for you without not consciously knowing that?
Yep, I agree. I do think it's that.
I will say that 23, you're still really young. Melissa's advice is more practical. Like my advice is like, you need a new job and you probably need to move. Like, I just like, this might just be like, we all have like timing in our life of like this, everything expires. Like every job that we have expires, every relationship that we have expires like a certain point. And sometimes that's death it expires at. And like when we grow old and we end up together, or it's like something like this. And like, you might just be getting too big for your small town and like, or the small town where you're at. And so I agree with the sense of like, maybe you just need to like commute in your social time. Like maybe you drive an hour to like go hang out in places with like and make friends in like that bigger city to like broaden that circle. Or like this might be a sign for you that you don't see yourself settling down in this area and that you maybe like need to kind of spread your wings and try something else out. And that's also like takes time to like save up money to do that. But I also think that like sometimes I don't think powering through dating when it's not working out for you well, like in dating apps and it gets you really discouraged. I think like there's something very underrated and beneficial about being like, it's not a season for dating for me right now. And because like, I'm just getting demoralized, like, and I'm just like, this is feeling helpless or something like that. If it's like, I know I want to get out of this town. I know I want to move. I want to find a new job. And so maybe I put dating on the back burner for a bit and then focus a little bit more on like just having fun, because I don't want to say your standards might change, but like, you know, if you want to have a hoe phase, you know, that's when you drive an hour for some dick and you're like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like, but there might be something there for you that you'll get to know yourself more and like know what you're interested in and who you're interested in and the kind of people that you want to date. It's hard to know that. And some people do, but it's hard to know that without dating people who you actually don't end up liking. Like it's hard to get it right on the first try.
And then you said I'm either the complete opposite of what guys I like would go for, or I end up being just the friend acquaintance to them. What kind of guy do you like? So you didn't really share that. Because that could be cutting you off from potential suitors. But then also like the ones that you're saying that you are just friends with them, have you expressed that you like them? Because if you're not sharing, there might be guys. I feel like in a lot of like hetero relationship with the opposite sex, like people sometimes they like each other, but they don't say that they do. And so if you're not expressing it, then how do you know that they don't like you and they wouldn't go for you?
Yeah.
So are you sharing that information?
I would also ask yourself, and I'm definitely projecting based on like other people we've talked to on the podcast as well, but like I would also take a look at your friend group. So when you're saying that like they always like my friends more like than me, like what is your friend group? Do you feel represented in your friend group? Do you feel like your friends represent who you are? Like, are you so vastly different and opposite from your friends? Because I do think that like if you're always the friend, if they're always more interested in your friend, that only really happens if you are like the odd one. You're the one like completely different than everybody else. Like a lot of friend groups, like people have very similar interests. There's these other things there. So I would ask yourself if you feel like that. And then if I was in a friend group where like every new guy that we met was interested in like never interested in one person, or always like kind of friend zoning that one person, and then like we welcomed that person into the friend group, or like kind of like started dating that, like I would hope that I would self-question as like a friend in the situation of being like, why are we doing like it just feels like a slight in the sense that like, yes, these men, and that's not there, anyone can be into whoever they're into, but like as a friend, I think that's the friend group aspect is, and unless you're not saying anything, but if like it is well known and you've told your friends that you like these guys, and then these guys end up liking them, like do those guys end up being in your friend group? Because like I think that is far like hella fucking against girl code.
Mm-hmm.
If like you like a guy and a guy kind of comes to our friend group, is not interested in you and expresses interest in someone else, like you're out. Like that's awkward. Like you're new here. Like this is like, we don't need this. So sometimes I find that like our dating experiences, like it can be the pool, it can be our mindset, or it can also be our circle and our community. And like we sometimes I find if we accept poor behavior from friends, we're more likely to accept poor behavior from romantic relationships. But it's hard to know. But I do think you're right. Like even before you said, like Melissa said, I could tell this is a small town thing. And dating apps are work and hard.
And I also wonder, on the dating apps, do you have it set to 10 years older? Do you have it set to your age plus 10 years older? Because I think that also could change your perspective.
Will be like a double fetishization there.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm saying you should make money, but you could if you're going to do it, they should be older and you should be being compensated for that.
Right.
And I'd be older, like 40 plus years older, close to death. You need to get in the will. That's the whole point.
I don't even think, because she's 23, I think we need to go 50 years older.
Well, you know I can't do math. So. That doesn't mean they're in their late 80s? Okay. Yeah. So we need them dusty. We need them like close to the brink.
Do you know who Shira7 is?
Maybe.
Well,
TikTok?
Yeah, TikTok. I think she has a YouTube channel, but the clips are on TikTok. And she's all about getting you an old ass man and him paying for your life.
Yes, I know exactly who this is. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
Sprinkle,
this
sprinkle.
Is sprinkle, sprinkle. Yeah. Yeah, this is like one of those hard questions, because like I don't doubt anything that you're saying, and there isn't really like a fix to this, because you have to just think of like it's a dating pool problem. It's not a you problem. So yeah. I would say that like depending on how your friend group reacts to this and like how this kind of goes about, it could be a friend group problem and a community pool problem, but like this is never at any point a you problem. The only like you problem this could be is maybe not knowing yourself as much, but again, it's hard to know yourself in dating without dating. And I expand wide in that pool, get a hybrid car, like, you know, log those miles, metro, take a bus, like there's just bus, club, another club. And I think you're right. I would like to know where you are.
Because even in my smallish town, I was still getting the men folk of a lighter complexion, melanin deficient.
I am deficient. I'm deficient. I'm deficient. But yeah, I would also wonder if your friend group is predominantly white, because I think if this like could have been written by someone else, like that in the sense of like, if your friend group is very white and you are finding that they are kind of just welcoming this behavior and letting this happen, then I think that you've got a friend issue. You've got a friend problem. And I do think if you can pinpoint where the problem is, you will actually all of this will change, even if it's in your small town pool, because when we accept poor behavior or we view ourselves in a certain light, we tend to welcome more of that behavior, and we miss the things that are not like this. Like it's a confirmation bias. So we then only see these other things and we miss all of the stuff. Like there will be, even in a small town, there are going to be people who you'd be interested in, who would be interested in you, but without having like being on the right radio frequency to find it, you're just going to completely miss it. Yeah. So that's a difficult thing to do like at 23. And my picker was without a doubt broken at that point, but also it's very common to not have a lot of or any sexual experiences or romantic at really any age, but specifically at this age. Like this is not uncommon at all.
No, not at all. We've had plenty of calls of people calling in about this.
Yeah.
So you got this. Don't date old men unless they're old and you want to be in their will.
And there has to be a contract. We can call it dating, but like financially, there needs to be some incentives.
Yeah. I saw this 20-something-year-old man on TikTok who met this old woman that was near death. And she asked him, she's like, I just want to enjoy my last few days in life with you. And he was like, okay. Yeah. And he did. And he got her house and a whole bunch of money. And he ended up just giving the money away.
Wow. I love heartwarming stories like that.
Me too.
Hallmark, pick that up. Write that down. Well, I am hoping the best for you, and I know that it will get better and easier. And this is my telepathically to one of our listeners to write in with giving them advice.
One of our listeners.
Oh, and another one. There's two then.
Oh yeah.
Neither of them. No, one of them will hear this. The other one probably won't hear it. So the rest of you who know who I'm referencing, tell them to listen. Join our Patreon. Get to know people.
Because we know them.
We know them so well. Anyways,
let's get to the next call.
I am calling in because my best friend has been in a relationship for over 5 years now.
So, you want to be a marketer. It's easy. You just have to score a ton of leads and figure out a way to turn them all into customers. Plus, manage a dozen channels, write a million blogs, and launch 100 campaigns all at once. When that's done, simply make your socials go viral and bring in record profits. No sweat. Okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. But with HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools, launching benchmark-breaking campaigns is easier than ever. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
A narcissist, and I'm gonna read off what I wrote here. So my friend Sasha, I'll call her Sasha, met this guy when we were still in college, and she's really smart and beautiful and funny, and I know she can get any guy that she wants. And so when she was like mooning over this new guy being everything she wanted, she was in a very confident place, and I was really happy for her. But long story short, they had a really rocky start. They were on and off for the first 2 or so years, and each time that they broke up, I comforted her and told her that she was worth more. I was also visibly frustrated whenever she went back to him. I think it's because of this that she eventually stopped coming to me as much whenever something bad happened with him. She would get like really defensive about their relationship when I would point out his red flags, saying that like because they lived together, that their relationship was more serious than the relationship that I was in, even though we'd been together, me and my partner had been together for about the same amount of time. We just didn't live together, and for a little while we were long distance. But she would say that, my relationship is not serious like hers. So like whatever he was pulling with her was normal because they lived together. It might also be worth mentioning that despite them being in a relationship for 6 years, or about, give or take 5 years, that I've only met this man like 3 times in person. And we do live in the same city. Like there's no like good excuse for me not to know more about him or know him in person. And she's met my partner several times. But fast forward to this year, she's called me a lot more miserable at the end of her rope. I think all of the toxic behaviors and patterns have started to come to light to her. She's starting to recognize the things that, we saw back when she was first with him, things that, at the time I didn't recognize as narcissistic behaviors, but became more clear.
So this call ended, we cut it out, but like this call ended with them saying that they didn't have enough time and they wanted to include more. But you didn't call back. So we're going to give you advice on like what you have said already. And then please call back and give us more. And I think it'll be kind of interesting to see like if our advice is going to line up with like the back half of this. I mean, I wonder how long you've been listening to the podcast, because like with love, you did everything we said to not do. Like absolutely everything we said to not do when your friend is dating someone who's toxic. But to be fair, we say that and I specifically say that from the place of like, I've been that friend who has done all of those things, and then it does not work in favor for the friendship. And like, I had to learn that the hard way. But the overarching thing, like, you have to let people make their own mistakes. And I think you're starting to recognize that and learn that. She's only going to leave that relationship when she wants to. And like, your role as a friend is like to be the apartment where she can crash on your couch. But like, if you have to decide if it's like too hard for your mental health to too hard to continue this friendship, if this is too draining for you, that's your one option, is you got to end the friendship because it's too much. Or the other option is like, you just have to support her in what makes her happy. And that can sometimes feel like enabling poor behavior. But like, if someone is just demonstrating poor behavior and you don't cut them off or create boundaries, then having them in your life and as a friendship at any capacity will inadvertently enable that poor behavior. It doesn't have to be like, oh, get back together with him, he's awesome. But like, yeah. And I think like we give that a little too much credit of being like, oh, they were all just enabling it. Like, I think like even people in horrible relationships need friends. And if you have the capacity to take that in and just kind of like wish for the best for her while maintaining that friendship, like that's great. But if you can't, that's also okay. But she's not going to do what you want her to do, because you also wouldn't do what she would want you to do. Like, you have much better perspective than she does. But again, like, that's not, and I mean this with love, that's not like a round of applause to you. Like it is just because you're not the one in it. And that would happen. It happens to everyone.
I also wonder, you seem to be her friend, but is she your friend? Because the thing she said about her being in a much more serious relationship than you is not cool. That was like at all. And then also not seeing her partner a lot, even though she's seen your partner a lot. So y'all are like hanging out.
Like show up. Like,
yeah.
Hi.
Like y'all aren't like double, like he's not coming to things that y'all are with your partner. Like that's weird.
It's very weird.
I have friends of friends that I've seen their partners more this year than like what you're describing. That's just weird. And so like, I don't know if this is like, if you two as friends is actually like compatible, because you're also telling her things that you shouldn't necessarily be telling her either. So what about your friendship do you like?
Yeah.
It's odd.
I a little bit, and I say this with love because I've also been there. It feels a little bit like you're trying to save her, and that kind of savior aspect of it builds resentment, because I also don't necessarily disagree with the first part of what she said about like, when you live a relationship where you live together is more serious, and a relationship like you and your partner not living together and then also being long distance, like it is different. Like it is truly different. That doesn't mean that like you like each other less, but like there are different issues that arise there. But the way that she phrased that, especially at the end, it sounded like she wanted to hurt your feelings, But I also
That's
think
exactly
that like
what she was doing.
Yeah, but I also think like you trying to give advice, telling someone about a relationship when you live together is like, where do you have not, it kind of comes from a holier than thou space. And so I think you're right, Melissa, in the sense that like, are you really friends at this point? Or are you just, is she like a project that you're trying to save?
Yeah. So evaluate that and don't worry. Like, yeah, she may be dating. You don't even know this dude really. So
yeah, you actually can't call a narcissist yet.
So I don't think you should be calling anybody a narcissist that has.
Let's say if narcissist is diagnosed.
Yes. But like, I don't think you know him enough. And I don't think that either of you are respecting each other's relationships enough to have an opinion. Like, I don't have an opinion on what, even though I love Mott, I don't like say anything. Like,
yeah,
there's nothing for me to say. Like, what am I going to say?
Yeah. And that's the thing that like, I think we grow out of at a certain age. I don't think you said how old you are, but like, it is a thing you grow out of, but it is hard when someone relies so heavily on their friends and telling their friends all of this stuff, because it's hard, because then the turnaround is like, then you're invested, and then they're like, why are you so invested? And it's like, you got me invested in this. And so like, it's, and I don't blame you at all. Like that's what happens when someone you haven't gone to enough therapy and like processed your shit. You rely on your friends to kind of do that for you. And then you expect them to the slate to be wiped clean every day. And it doesn't work like that, especially with good friends. Good friends don't want you to get hurt. But I don't know what friendship she's bringing to the table for you either.
Yeah. Because friends are going through things. I'm not going to give my personal opinion. I'm going to ask them what they want, what they want in the relationship, and where do they see themselves in the relationship.
Yeah. And nobody who's ever dated a shitty guy thinks that everyone loves them. Like, unless you're like charismatic, like narcissistic personality disorder, that kind of thing, where like you've fooled all of your acquaintances. But like, when you're dating a shitty guy, like you don't need your friends to be like, hey, that was really shitty what he did. He was really shitty. You're like, bitch, I know that it's like, you're not telling me anything I don't know. And so like, I think most of the time, the best thing you can do is just listen to people, because like they figure it out. It's kind of like therapy. Like they figure it out by talking it through themselves. But what I do is like, if afterwards they're like, what do you think? Or like, what should I do? I just say, what kind of Meghan do you want? Like, what do you want? And if it's like, I want you to be happy for me, or I want you to give me tough love. Like, I want you to be like totally honest. I want you to tell me that I should break up with him, or I want you to tell me that this is going to get better. And even if I don't think it's going to get better, I will say that, because that's what they need to hear at that point. And like, I'll say it in a way of like, this will always get better. Like, things are always going to get better. Things are always going to change. We're always going to have more perspective. And like, I'm not lying, because that is true. I'm not saying their behavior will change, but it's like, I really hope that they do. And like, I think everyone is possible of growing and changing. And I think like, if you believe that he's like in this and wants to better himself, I trust you. And then I believe you. And like, I am so excited for that. Like, there's always a way that you can support your friend. But like, I even think when a couple breaks up, I think like, save the happy dance 3 months until you can like be excited. But if it's around the holiday season, then give it 6 months. So like, by the time, if there's a summer, if you go through a whole summer of staying single and then a whole winter, then I think like, okay, but yeah, we should all know that we're all human and we're all going to find those comforts.
Yeah.
Because she does know her partner better than you. And that's a good thing and a bad thing in that sense. So yeah.
And also like, if he is in fact a narcissists can be in love too, and they can find a partner.
Yeah. That partner is called a mirror. And then they kiss it and they go, I love myself so much. I'm so great.
Or they find someone that just wants to be there.
And just adores them and does and falls in line and does all that and benefits them, and all of those things. But I will say, to ease your anxiety, every friend that I have had, past and present, who has dated someone who immediately I was like, you are fucking awful, worst person ever, whether I said it to them or not, none of them are together anymore. So like, it will end. But even when I said something, that relationship got back together. When I didn't say something, they stayed together. They eventually broke up. So like there's nothing you can say that they don't already know and haven't already accepted that. So like, just know that shit will work out eventually. You just have to decide what role you want to play in that and how invested you want to be and how much time you want to spend on it.
Yeah. The only time that I have intervened is when there has been physical or mental violence. And that's when I'll intervene. But other than that.
Well, that's when you psychologically have to be removed, like in order to get out of the situation there. And yeah, but other than that, I agree. That's the only time at this point in my life, being more matured, more therapized, have learned some lessons. That's the only time I would say something unprompted and intervene and with include other people in like fully intervening and, you know, working on getting that person out of that situation or options to get out of that situation.
Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to take a break now.
And we're back, and it is time for, what is it time for actually?
The next
I don't remember. That's time for the next song.
Next one. So right in.
Hi, Meghan and Melisa. I've been listening from the beginning, and this is my first time emailing in. I'm a 22-year-old, and my pronouns are she, her. Recently, during a mental breakdown, I realized that I don't have many friends anymore in my university town. This is my 5th year in this town/university because I'm pursuing 2 degrees. All of my close friends graduated last year and moved away, all which are too far and too expensive to visit. I will graduate this May with both my degrees. This is a big accomplishment that I've worked really hard for. My problem is that since I don't have any friends here, I don't want to go to graduation, ceremony, a dinner, then a big party. The whole fun part of it is experiencing it with the friends you went through this time with. These friends all celebrated last year, but I didn't. My family would fly in for graduation, and my boyfriend would also be there, but I feel like it wouldn't be the same partying and celebrating without these friends. I also wouldn't be invited to any graduation party since I'm not friends with anyone. I have anxiety, and the idea of me being at the school graduation party without any friends makes me really anxious, and I feel like I wouldn't even enjoy it if I did go. I was thinking of going on a vacation with my boyfriend instead, but I feel like I will regret it if I don't celebrate this big accomplishment. I would love if you give me some advice. By the way, I'm a Cancer. Thanks. I genuinely think going on a vacation is the best way to celebrate this.
I do too. And that's coming from someone who, since like in my sorority, you have to, when you go in, when you pledge, you have to have a certain amount of hours. So most people like credits that you have in school. And so most people don't pledge until they're a sophomore, but I went into school basically having credits as a sophomore. So all my friends were a year older than me. And so I still had a graduation party. Like, even though some of my friends, like, they came back for the graduation party, like if you invite them, they might come back. And it was mainly like for my family and friends, like it was fine. But like, if I had an option to go on a trip, 100% would have done that. Yeah.
I mean, I had a friend who went to college, didn't like that college, left, took a break for the remainder of that year, and then re-enrolled as a freshman at a different university. And so when she was graduating, like, it took a lot for her parents to like even convince her to like walk at graduation and do the whole thing. But like, it was like, I'll do a dinner, but like, I'm not going to do all of that stuff because all of her friends from high school had done it the year prior. And like, she like, you know, celebrated with them and did all of that. And she doesn't regret that at all. And I will say that I'm a big believer in like living for what will make you happy right now, because I wanted to not go to my senior prom because, I mean, it's all in my book. My prom date got suspended like a couple days before, and I was like fresh off of a breakup, and it was like a mess. And everybody's like, you'll really regret not going. Just go. And I went, and I'm going to tell you right now, years down the road, I still regret fucking going. Like, I shouldn't have gone. And this doing things.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. Look for The Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
For like future you to be glad that you went. If you know that you're not actively going to enjoy it in the moment, you should know right after you go, like, that was a great choice. I'm really glad that I went. But like, if you need to wait like 10, 15 years to like say that, like, you know, in hindsight, it was good that I went, I just don't believe that that carries any weight, because I think we just say that because we went. Like, I don't think that you're going to go on a vacation and be like, wow, I really regret not spending my graduation with these random students who I'm not friends with. Like, you can celebrate graduate, like, by doing your own celebration, that doesn't negate not celebrating this accomplishment. Like, that is celebrating this accomplishment. Like, I think you should have a dinner. You should have your, like, I think you should still walk at graduation. I think you should get the pictures. You should invite any of your friends. Say, like, I would really love if you could come. I feel like hella fucking weird about this. Like, please come. I would make the trip. Like, I've been to many, I dropped out of college and I've been to many of friends' graduations. I would ask them to come, and then I would have a dinner with your boyfriend, your family, and your friends. And I would like do it up, like get the little like cap and gown cupcake decor, and like tell the person at the restaurant, like, oh, we're celebrating graduation. Like, really lean into it. Like it's your birthday, like your whole birthday month, where it's like, oh, it's my birthday. It's my birthday. Every time you go to a restaurant, you say it's your birthday.
People give you presents, so
do that, and then go on vacation with your boyfriend, and then like bring your fucking cap and gown, take some cute pictures wherever you're there doing that. And like, anytime you go out to dinner, have your boyfriend say like, oh yeah, we're celebrating her graduation. So like, every night you're on vacation, it's a big celebration. Like, do all of that kind of thing. And like, I promise you, those are much bigger and like more substantial memories than partying with people you're not close to and doing things that everyone else did the year prior, because I think you need to celebrate differently, because if you celebrate the same, it will feel like you are repeating it at a lesser degree, because you're not doing it side by side with your friends. But like, they can watch you do it, you watch them do it, and you celebrate differently. And it doesn't mean it means any less, but I think it's easy to compare when you're doing the same thing.
Don't do what I did though. I had been drinking all day, and I forgot I had been drinking all day because it was in the punch and you couldn't taste it.
You walked across that stage a little sway.
No. I was sober at that point, but my graduation party, and then I went out because it was you might live in a college town and there's, you just go to the bars around there. I've been drinking all day. I got completely blackout drunk. I don't remember anything that happened after a past point. I'm so glad that my cousin was there, because he said I did not appear to be drunk because I was having full conversations with people.
You and me would have been a disaster together in college, because that was also me.
And I also was he told me the things I was saying. I was just lying. I was like, none of this is true.
Melissa, that was me. No one would know I was drunk, and they're like, drunk words are sober thoughts. And I go, I am fully lying about everything. Like, I am not a single thing I've said is true.
Yeah. I just woke up the next day and he was explaining everything. I'm so thankful that he was with me.
Justice for cousins on this podcast.
Yes. Shout out to Brian.
Shout out, Brian.
He stopped. He listened to one episode and he said, never again. I don't need to know these things about you. And I was like, well, I made up lies about some of the stuff that I told you.
How do you know I'm not lying now?
So, don't do that. Don't do that.
I think graduations should be celebrated like birthdays. I think most things should be celebrated like birthdays. Like, make it a month, milk it, wear a cute outfit, love it, take pictures, like do all of that kind of stuff and have it be about you. Like, and I think actually, if you think about the win in this sense, last year, the graduation was about everybody. It was about everybody graduating. And this year, it's just about you. Like, it is just about you fucking graduating. And now you get to celebrate. Like, and this is, everyone else is also going to be able to be so happy for you because they're not also thinking about all of their own kind of stuff. Like, this is, and they know how much of an accomplishment it is and like what you get to look forward to because they did it last year. So I think like it's a different circumstance, but I think it's a positive and unique one that if this was my friend going through this, like I would be so fucking happy because I would know how hard it is to get to this point and graduate. And I don't personally know, but I would know if I did graduate college. And then also knowing that like you double majored and you stuck through for a whole fucking year while all of us were gone. And like, I dropped out of college because if I had friends, maybe I would have stayed in college. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it is a really important thing. And so like, they know how much of a success this is.
Yeah.
And fucking congrats. Like, that's really impressive.
And again, I can't emphasize this enough. You get presents.
What did you get for graduation presents?
I got lots of money, lots of gift cards. Some people gave me
Who
books.
gives
I was
you
like, y'all
money?
could have get like they just
Books?
like because it's
That's
kind
fucked
of
up.
like your next like thing in life. They're like you're moving on, you know, and so they're just giving money to, you know, buy
like,
things.
Relatives?
Yeah, but also
Okay.
just like my parents' friends, like that I wouldn't even like talk to, but they sent me because it was a whole thing. Like
If I could go back in time and have your family adopt me, I would. That sounds so fun.
Yeah,
That is
I also got like
nice.
nice, like kind of like a wedding registry. I got like nice like silverware and plates and things because they're like now you're moving out of like your college apartment and you can have nicer things.
Damn.
My church gave me like $300.
Damn. And suddenly I'm religious. Amen. There was like, I remember I found out everyone was getting like graduation gift. Like my friend was like, oh, I'm going on a trip for my graduation, like high school graduation gift. And I was like, we get graduation gifts? And so I was like, can I have a graduation gift? And also, first of all of my friends getting graduation gifts. Bitch, of course you're going to graduate. For me, that was dicier. We should be really celebrating that I did. They were like, you can buy this thing and we'll give you like $100 to contribute towards it. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, yeah, this is what I got for graduation, not pretending that like I didn't pay for most. I was like, okay. But like, damn, college. Actually, I think you're right. I had a lot of friends who like suddenly like, I was like, oh, what car are we taking? Like, oh, my car. I'm like, you have a car? And it was like, yeah, I got it. I used the money I got for graduation. I guess that makes sense now that I was like, damn, that is a lot of money if you bought a car.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have stayed in college.
I think you probably made more money leaving college than you would have gotten in gifts. And
I mean,
also no debts.
Crystal clear that based on what crystal clear based on my high school graduation, I wasn't going to get any gifts. But you know, I'm saying in my if I could fantasize about my life and I'm being reborn into your family,
yeah,
would have raked it in. Mm-hmm. And it would have been like, is she going to graduate? Is she not? It would have kept people on their toes.
It wouldn't even been on a toes things because we would have got you the all the things.
Oh yeah, there you go. We would have gotten you medicated, and that would have helped. It's not wrong. It is not wrong. It was funny when I when I didn't have and I was trying to have a conversation with Mott's about something, and he was just looking at me, and I was like, "Are you just thinking about the fact that like I went through high school and college like this?" He goes, I'm just you did really well. Like you did really well for this being your default without and just still passing. It's because I was a personality hire. It was funny. So teachers liked me.
And you're here today, so
and that's all that fucking matters. Mm-hmm. And now I also still have college debt. Anyways, well,
with something like 5 million podcasts, finding a really good one can take a ton of time. So let me recommend one. It's called Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and in each episode, we discuss topics that can be really helpful, like how to read people better, the psychology of crowds, or fun things like the story of Legos, or why you probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for horses. Something You Should Know is the name of it, wherever you get your podcasts.
This is all we have for this episode because we accidentally pulled a call that we've already done, everyone. So that was my bad. We hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you did, you can leave us a review in the podcast app, or you can also leave a review on Spotify. Please call in for upcoming episodes and write in, and also for Don't Blame Them. We would love to get some. I know we solicited some specific people to write in for Don't Blame Them on this episode, but please do. And for any new callers, you can ask us, you can send things about anything, and like, you know, we'll pick what we pick, but just know that like you don't have to like make it like other calls that we've had or kind of fit into like any sort of box there. We love things that are a little bit off the wall, a little wild and crazy. And if you've been featured on a previous episode and you would like to give us an update, does not matter what episode or what season your call originally aired in, or we read your advice, send us a message. Or you can also just write us an update, or we can chat with you on video. But yeah, it's a great time. Stay tuned for the rest of the content, rest of the podcast coming out this week. We've got Barbie.
And I was going to say, also, we have a Facebook group. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group, if you were declined before, that doesn't mean that you're going to be declined forever. So just right back in and change the things that need to be changed, because I gave explanations for a lot of people why you weren't accepted. So you can rejoin.
Yeah.
Or resubmit, I should say.
Well, we hope you enjoyed. We love giving you advice, and let us give you advice. Also, if you work for a company that does ads and like you want to sponsor, you're like, it's a holiday season, you know, who would be wonderful people for us to partner up with? Us? Send us an email.
Yeah. We can now sell our own ads, which is
exactly.
Great,
so you can literally shoot us an email, like, and we can figure this out. And if you've done that before and it like didn't pan out because we forwarded you along to someone else, set it again.
Yeah.
We're in the driver's seat, baby. Vroom, vroom. Hop on in.
All right. Goodbye for real now this time.
Yeah, bye. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production sound and editing by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Giacomo Picasso and Ryan Hunter.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out Real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
Hi, I'm Jennifer, a co-founder of the Go Kid Go network. At Go Kid Go, putting kids first is at the heart of every show that we produce. That's why we're so excited to introduce a brand new show to our network called The Search for the Silver Lining, a fantasy adventure series about a spirited young girl named Isla who time travels to the mythical land of Camelot. During her journey, Isla meets new friends, including King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, and learns valuable life lessons with every quest, sword fight, and dragon ride. Positive and uplifting stories remind us all about the importance of kindness, friendship, honesty, and positivity. Join me and an all-star cast of actors including Liam Neeson, Emily Blunt, Kristen Bell, Chris Hemsworth, among many others, in welcoming the Search for the Silver Lining podcast to the Go Kid Go network by listening today. Look for the Search for the Silver Lining on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.